So here's the continuation of last week's DIY project on how to take a pumpkin from this to this. For this pumpkin, I thought I would show an alternative to the crayon melting idea. I took some acrylic paint in Halloween colors and started dripping the colors onto the pumpkin so that it would give the dripping effect. So, as you can see here, I was having problems with the white paint, so I just decided to keep going and use a brush to paint it on so that it would dry faster, instead of leaving it in globs. Then I went on to the next color, yellow. I gave the pumpkin a little shake at the end of each color so that it gives more of a dripping effect, and then I went on to the rest of the colors. And then I came back to the white. I thinned it out with some water, which worked really well since the paint I was using was water-based. But then I got a little too happy with the white and put way too much, so then I had to go back with the other colors and break up the white. And then I eventually ended up with this. So for the second pumpkin, I used this can of black spray paint. If you try it, make sure you're outside. I did mine in the garage. I also used these googly eyes and a hot glue gun. But you can really use any glue that you want. All I did was put a little glue on the back of each eye and put it onto the pumpkin in a random order. You can do it any way you like, just have fun doing it. And this is how it turned out. If you shake it, you can hear the little eyes moving. The third pumpkin is really messy, but I like it still. I used Mod Podge and a sponge brush and some sprinkles and some 3D or puffy paint. So, I didn't realize it at the time I was filming, but the whole time I was gluing the sprinkles on, my memory card was full. All I did was brush some Mod Podge on in small sections and sprinkled the sprinkles on, and then went back and filled in the bald spots. So once that was dry, I used clear acrylic sealer and put a coat of that on to seal the sprinkles in place so that they would stay on the pumpkin. I let that dry and then went back in with black 3D paint and drew a pumpkin face on it. And this is how it turned out. So for the last pumpkin, I used Mod Podge, a sponge brush, and something that you can brush glue onto. I used a palette so that I can wash it and use it again. I also used what they call podgeable paper. I found it at Michael's. It's a little bit of a thinner paper that is easier to use when you want to use Mod Podge. I cut out the letters I wanted to use and started putting some Mod Podge on the back of the paper and put it onto the pumpkin. Then I also used more Mod Podge to get the paper to stick to the surface of the pumpkin. While doing this, I found that when you put the paper onto the pumpkin, it was easier to make it flat with the surface if you had glue on top of the paper and use your finger to get it to lay into the grooves of the pumpkin than to brush it out onto the rest of the pumpkin. The more I did this, I found it easier to use my fingers. after I put all the letters on, I let that dry. Then I put a thin layer of Mod Podge on to seal in the letters, and then I let that dry. Once it was all dry, I went in with the black 3D paint and drew on little spiders. I think this pumpkin is one of my favorites that I did. You're going to want to let that dry for a while because it was a thick layer of paint. And you're done. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Thanks so much for watching part 2 of the video. If you liked it, let me know and hit the like button. And if you liked it that much, subscribe to my channel to see my next video. Stay tuned for some more fun Halloween themed DIYs. And also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. See you again soon. Bye!